back to another episode of Tracy's Takes. What we do here on my channel is we discuss movies and TV shows, but I've got a little bit of a special episode for you today. I'm going to be doing these periodically. I'm going to drop movies and TV news, but it won't be an everyday episode. It's only going to be on the times or the weeks where about 7 days have gone by or more, and there's been enough news where I feel like you guys need to know the developments about the movies or TV shows. This particular episode is not going to have any movie knowledge because there wasn't much in the realm of movies that has dropped as far as news is concerned. But there have been some developments with DC, Star Wars, and Marvel that I thought you guys may need to or want to know about. First things first, DC dropped two key arts very recently. They dropped a key art for a show they're going to call Starfire. The key art's nice. It's got the typical Starfire look. Actually looks really, really good. It's going to be an animated show. The interesting part about Starfire is she is typically shown in a group. She is usually part of the Teen Titans. So the fact that they decided to go with a individualized show just for Starfire, I think is interesting because you can kind of get into her backstory a little more deeply. They did that a little bit in the animated series back in the day on Cartoon Network, but not enough. Like there wasn't enough fleshed out in that character, so I think that's interesting. And I also feel like if they're going to start out with a Starfire animated series, that gives me hope that we're probably going to end up with a Teen Titans at some point. I'm not sure if they're going to go the animated route or if they're going to go live action. But I am, because James Gunn has already came out of the gate like, hey, here's your key art for Starfire, I am happy about that, and I feel like that bodes well for us Teen Titan fans. Along with that Starfire key art, they dropped some key art for a Green Lantern animated series. The show's going to be called My Adventures with Green Lantern. Interesting title. It makes me wonder if they're going to be doing a kind of third-party look at what the life of a Green Lantern is like, or are we going to be having a adventure that the Green Lantern is going through? And another thing that interests me about the decision to make the Green Lantern animated series is that they already greenlit a Green Lanterns live action series, and because James Gunn has already came out public that this universe is going to be very interconnected, likened into the MCU, then I wonder how those two series about Green Lanterns are going to intersect. Moving on to Star Wars. Star Wars dropped a Andor trailer today. It was pretty good. It was very action-packed, but I'll get back to that in a second. We do see a few new looks for Andor. They dropped some still footage of him before, and it was kind of some of that was something to say, but there was also some new footage. Nice to see it in motion for sure, to see the kind of the backdrop, the storyline that kind of building around the still images we got back a little while ago. They showed us some new characters, but they also showed us some characters that are going to be continuing to deal with Andor or be connected with Andor from season 1 and moving on into season 2. Interesting there. I like that choice. They did, in this trailer at least, lean heavy into the action. There's a lot of explosions and a lot of shooting scenes. So I'm wondering if they're going to tilt this show on its axis and give us more of a action-packed season 2 than they had in season 1. Not saying season 1 had no action, but it was clear and obviously more of a spy thriller. If they decide to keep it a spy thriller, hey, I'm fine with that too. Season 1 of Andor was fantastic, but just based on the trailer, it looks like they are trying to give us a little more bang for our buck in this season 2. And keep in mind, if I'm not mistaken, I think season 2, if I'm not mistaken, it was reported that season 2 is going to lead us directly into the events of Rogue One, which would make sense that they're picking up the action there. Also, the writers for Skeleton Crew. I know that a lot of you guys probably haven't even watched Skeleton Crew, but if you have not, it is on Disney Plus. It is a Star Wars series, and it is actually pretty delightful. I won't give anything about it here. Just check it out if you get a moment. I think it was 8 episodes, could be six. I can't remember. It was a little while ago when it came out. But the writers of that show have already said that they have a story for a season two. Uh, I wasn't thrilled with the story that they came up with, but hey, if we get another series, another season of English of Skeleton Crew, I'm all for it. I'll give them a chance. They did a good job with season one. I have no doubt that they can make the story work for season two. Marvel was the big winner for the news this week. They reported that they have paused production on 3 animated series. The first one was Strange Academy. They had completely paused production on that show. They paused production on Terra Inc. and they paused production on Nova. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't even know they were making a Terra Inc. show, so I didn't feel one way or another about them pausing production on that show. I did feel a lot of buzz in the TV and movie industry about the Strange Academy TV show they were producing. All of them were animated, so animation in and of itself doesn't get as much buzz as live action does. And I just didn't feel a lot of people were interested in the Strange Academy. I really didn't. So for them to pause production on that, it probably was because they weren't getting any serious interest in the show about that plot. The one that I'm surprised about was Nova, because they have not mistaken, they've been working on at least the pre-production, the script, and the story for Nova since Endgame. When we found out that the way that Thanos got the Power Stone was that he decimated Xandar, and from what I gathered, that show was going to fill in the pieces that we never caught in Endgame for an Infinity War, letting us know what happened on Xandar, and then leading into a Nova character, whether it be Richard Rider or the like. So pausing production on a show that's been in development for so long really puzzled me. I did, and that unlike Strange Academy had some buzz. People wanted to know. People were interested in that storyline. So I wonder maybe they didn't have a good script. Maybe they didn't have confidence in what they had, and they just decided, you know what, it's better just to pause here and let's not put out something that people would consider to be subpar. We do have a few shows still in the pipeline. They did not say they would pause production on Ironheart. I think Ironheart's been in the can for a while. I want to say it was reported that they were shooting Ironheart in conjunction with Wakanda Forever, which was years ago. So I think they had Ironheart in the can. And I don't know if they are confident in the product they came up with, but I think we're going to get Ironheart either way at this point. Eyes of Wakanda, an animated series, they have not paused production on that, and Wonder Man is still apparently in production. So looking forward to see what they can do with those characters. It has been reported from comicbook.com, which is a pretty reliable source. They're wrong sometimes, so can take this with a grain of salt, but they've reported that Marvel is in talks to make a Punisher special presentation. Like they made a special presentation about the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special, a Werewolf by Night. They tend to do those like a mini movie where it'll be like a 1 hour shoot, not 1 hour, but a 1 hour presentation about the character or characters. If this is true, it will be interesting for a few reasons, but the primary reason it will be interesting because it was reported that Marvel was pretty much done with special presentations, so they must have had a pretty good story presented to them, if this is true, for them to decide that we're going to go ahead and make a Punisher special presentation. Also interesting about that is that they Kevin Feige has come out and said that, we're going to go ahead and make Daredevil Born Again a direct continuation of the Daredevil Netflix series. And we know Punisher is going to be in that series. So it's odd that they decided, if it's true, to make a Punisher special presentation. Unless maybe they wanted to give Marvel their own pseudo story for Punisher, a side story from Daredevil. Which, I mean, I'm here for it. If they make anything about Punisher, I'm going to watch it. But just interested if they decide to go with the special presentation route, if this report is indeed and in fact true. Of course, Daredevil Born Again is going to come out on March 4th. I know I mentioned early March in my last video or two, and then 2 videos ago, but it is in fact March 4th. I was able to pull up the release schedule, and it is as follows. The first 2 episodes are going to drop March 4th at 6 p.m. Pacific time. They're going to follow that up with episode 3 on March 11th, episode 4 on March 18th. And then, interesting, they're going to combine episode 5 and 6 and drop them both on the 25th. It's not surprising that they want to drop the 2 first episodes together to get the audience attached, to get them hooked, to get them interested in the story. This isn't very uncommon. It is uncommon in a 9-episode series to combine episode 5 and 6. My theory is they probably have a pretty big story that arcs the 2 episodes. They just want to leave a satisfying conclusion before they move into episode 7, which will be on the latter end of the season. If you aren't aware, they have already greenlit season 2 for Daredevil Born Again. There will be another 9-episode season 2 of Daredevil Born Again. So they have full confidence in the show. It is not like Marvel to go ahead and back-to-back greenlight. Noah's even seen episode 1 of season 1, and they are already in the can working on season 2, which is good for us as the fans, because that means we don't have to wait 2 or 3 years to get a new season of a show that we're interested in. So good on Marvel for pulling the trigger on season 2 of Daredevil Born Again. Fingers crossed it's going to be what they expect, and the fans are going to get what they're hoping for out of that season. I am going to do a episode by episode review of Daredevil Born Again. I'm going to drop an episode at least of Tracy's Takes, of course, at least 24 hours. That's my hope, within 24 hours of each episode. So if you're watching my channel, if you're interested in the show, try to, if you can, watch the show when it comes out or shortly after. If not, of course, you can always just watch the episode of Tracy's Takes that covers that episode. It'll be listed. That way you can avoid spoilers and just catch the episode of Tracy's Takes once you caught up. But that was all the big news this week. Like I said, I will do these from time to time just to keep you guys informed on what I found out. I know a lot of people don't have time to dig into the movie space or the TV space to find out all these things. So it's easier for me just to drop a YouTube video and tell you what I found. Hopefully you were interested if you learned a few things about what's upcoming and what is not. I will see you guys on the next episode of Tracy's Takes. Thank you for sticking around. Hope you have a great rest of your Monday. Take care.